The fourth season of the popular science fiction series For All Mankind on Apple TV Plus is finally here. The premise of the Apple TV Plus series is based on a different reality in which the Russians get at the moon before the Americans, thus extending the space race. The third season of the show centers on the race to Mars between the US and Russia, as well as a privately backed business called Ilios Aerospace that resembles Tesla. There are shuttles from all three groups traveling to the Red Planet, and the 10 episodes are action-packed and intelligently structured. The cherished cast is reintroduced to viewers in the show's Season 4 opener, Episode 1, titled Glasnost, which takes place in the 90s and ushers in a bright new millennium. Edward leads a crew that is constantly expanding on Mars with the goal of creating history by mining the first asteroid. Toby Kebbell and Daniel Stern are two of the new cast members who we are introduced to, but there are still a lot of challenges ahead, including a significant death. A disorienting montage that traverses the show's alternate entities timeline introduces Glasnost. Ellen Wilson wins re-election to the presidency for a second term. She carries a law prohibiting same-sex unions and contributes to the creation of a pact that will support the colony's growth on Mars. As the year 2000 comes to an end, Ellen Wilson gets married. Dev Issa founds a new robotics company, and Al Gore ascends to the presidency of the United States. It seems that the Cold War is coming to an end as America and Russia are forming a new alliance. Then we return to Mars, where Happy Valley has grown into a much more expansive settlement. It appears that every nation is cooperating well with one another. Just before a momentous endeavor, Ed and Grigor are reintroduced, obviously the best of friends now that they still find time to joke about. And with that, Grigor creates history by being the first human to set foot on an asteroid. The staff at NASA is all ecstatic about this outstanding accomplishment. Administrator Eli Hobson then introduces himself and expresses gratitude to his team for their assistance with this momentous occasion. Much older Margot continues with her everyday activities in the Soviet Union while this is happening in Russia. She's settled in now, but she still feels so alone. Margot peruses the articles and learns about Grigor's great accomplishment. Then, another recent addition to the cast, Miles, is presented to us in Baton Rouge. Although Miles is a family man, it looks like he is now going through a difficult divorce. He believes that getting a new career will help him support his family and keep his failing marriage afloat. Following a tip from a former co-worker, Miles applies to work on the moon. Experience working on offshore rigs is what Helios is seeking for. Miles seizes the chance with abandon. Although there are 2 years until the next open departure window, he manages to get the position by lying on his application. Miles cries out for a chance to get closer. Instead, he is offered a 2-year assignment on Mars. Ed talks with his daughter Kelly while he is back on Mars. Ed says he'll be home soon, but Kelly and her son have had enough of his broken promises. After that, Ed resumes his work. In order to get the enormous rock to Mars, Grigor and the crew are busy hooking up the asteroid. The asteroid is being moved by Ed's team, but early in the process, the wires come loose. Ed is forced to manually stabilize the ship when the asteroid begins to shake. However, as things continue to get worse, Grigor offers to go out and manually resolve the problem. Ed violates protocol despite being ordered not to. To solve the issue, Grigor and an astronaut named Parker step outside. As the mechanism keeps malfunctioning, the structure begins to collapse. When Grigor's leg becomes stuck in the collapsed building, Parker is instantly killed. Ed promises that he will get dressed and help Grigor free himself, but it's too late. His oxygen supply is running low, and there's no turning back now. Ed is compelled to bid his friend farewell for the last time. He can't save his friend today. He can't be the hero. When Grigor's oxygen levels drop to a dangerous level, Ed separates the ship and leaves him to die in space alone. When Alida returns to NASA, she is so overcome by the escalating situation that she leaves her desk and completely neglects her duties. Through the news, Margot learns about this accident. She reaches out to Director Kadich because she wants to assist with the aftermath, but she can't talk to them face to face. Margot travels around Russia to have a face-to-face meeting with the director, but it turns out that the Russians do not actually want her help. Later on in Glasnost, Margot is sitting on a park bench talking with a stranger. Margot is given some advice to be patient by this weird woman who appears to know her. After that, she gives her a card with her contact information on it. Ed is still grieving Grigor's passing a week later. He calls Kelly to let her know that he won't be coming back to Earth anytime soon. Ed must assist with the aftermath of the mission's failure. Kelly is inconsolable. Former astronaut Danielle Poole is called in by Eli Hobson when the Mars team is in turmoil. He hopes she takes over Happy Valley and restores stability and order to the area. Although first reluctant to go back to Mars, Danielle eventually accepts the position. Then, we see her and Miles making their way to the Red Planet.